Hello everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. We're taking a look here at Matic, seeing what's going on, of course, helping understand best practice and big picture, and it's absolutely taking off. I got a lot of requests, of course, for this. It's a pretty consistent one for a lot of folks, so we're going to go ahead and take a look at this and see kind of where we're at and why this happened. I mean, it's no surprise Bitcoin's up almost 7-8% on the day, so Matic inevitably is going to continue, right? So pretty close to what I was expecting. Honestly, just a little bit more than I was anticipating. I was expecting 91 cents to possibly be a rejection point when it was just a consolidation effort and a push to the upside. So we'll take a look at that and much more. Not a financial advisor though, please understand. I love teaching people to trade. Hope you can learn something here today. My goal is to help you become more of an effective trader. So if you find that, let me know, of course. Great to hear the feedback. I have received a lot of positive feedback here recently regarding my Bitcoin analysis. So of course, check that out in your own time. I review that daily. But for the most part, if you want to become a better trader, I have a trading academy, community, and signal group. Link in the description below. Check that out in your own time. A lot of folks are coming over now, more specifically because we're in a bearish market. They're trying to learn how to become better, just more self-sufficient traders. And that's really just the way it should be. This is a healthy environment, and we can absolutely still do well in a bearish type of sentiment. It's not the end of the world. Yeah, it sucks our altcoins are down, at least not Matic, but for the most part, things are doing pretty well, and we got to celebrate that. So anyways, regardless of that fact, let's go ahead and take a look here. So starting with the daily and working our way down, we see here based on Fibonacci retracement and or just in general, the 2x, so to speak, for Fibonacci, we are right past that level. We blew through 1.618, and we're currently trending closer towards the 2. In other words, right at $1.05, as I mentioned before, it's a key level of Fibonacci retracement. In other words, the price action comes up to that level, we should expect a rejection. I'm also speculating that we have some type of support level previous that would work as a resistance. And what do you know, right there, plain as day, back in September of last year, you can see the price action before it continued to increase fairly significant up to the $3 range. You can see the price action came down to bounce off 105. Okay. Coincidentally, that is also a key level resistance here. So keep in mind, 105 should be the shelf or the limitation for Matic if it continues. All right, that's something we need to acknowledge and recognize. So it wouldn't be a terrible idea to consider taking some profits. I know some folks are like, oh, what if I sell too early? Well, you're much better taking meat off the bone before it becomes just completely worthless, right? Not saying Matic has that potential, but it's extremely overextended and is going to be ripe for the plucking. In other words, whales are going to take a lot of profit from this coin based on the simple fact that it's the most profitable coin in the market. Again, I didn't look at every single coin, but for the most part, it does appear to be one of the higher ones. We're upwards of almost 30%, right? Well, 27 currently at this time. Highest point was 30 from what I saw earlier. But again, Bitcoin's up 8% on the day. That's a pretty huge push. And you got to recognize that that's going to have some positivity there. We can also see dollar indexes down as well. Big surprise, dollar index down, Bitcoin up. So we're seeing this natural flow of how the market works with the gap up as well in the traditional markets. So those are all things that we need to kind of recognize and understand that are factoring in here. But once again, Matic is doing much better than most coins too. So we've also got to understand that it's just one of those things. It's going to continue to happen. But it's going to just continue eventually. And I feel that 105 will absolutely be its rejection point if it continues. So let's take a look at some other things here, see where we're at. We broke through 70 on the RSI, and traditionally speaking, when you break through 70 on the RSI on the daily more specifically, it will work as a support level. So oftentimes the price will stay above there for some time. In other words, even though Matic could very well be ready for a plunge based on the fact that there's tons of profit to be taken, it could really work very strong, and the relative strength is there. In other words, telling us that we're above a key level resistance, such as 70 in the RSI, likely also 91 cents. So that should effectively be the bottom, right? And we're going to take a closer look at that, of course. I'm pretty sure we saw some consolidation effort right at the 91 cent range just before it broke through. So that was probably one of those bullish pennant patterns that essentially broke to the upside. Taking a look at the 4 hour, let's see if we can identify. Of course, you can see that consolidation effort here. Probably wasn't enough. If we take a look at TD sequential, oh, nice. We got a little reset down here right at the previous resistance. I think I covered Matic yesterday right at this time, and I was expecting the price to either do one of two things, either break to the upside, which it did, or potentially come back down to retrace and bounce off 68. I'm glad that it didn't, because it's obviously doing very, very well. But in that sense, right now we can see just the main takeaway I would say here is that we saw this strong consolidation effort there. In other words, at least 10 to 12 hours or the consolidation right below that resistance level before it broke to the upside. And that's really nice to see in that sense, really just reaffirming that we, instead of the price just shooting straight up per se, with it spending some more time here, there's a strong likelihood of the price were to retrace, 91 cents should be the new bottom. That's essentially what it's telling us. And once again, 91 cents, we saw 70 on the RSI is broken. That'll work as a support level too. So we got some positivity here in that sense. The only thing I don't love is the fact that we're really overextended on the 4 hour for the RSI. So to me, expecting a push higher from Matic would be unlikely or unrealistic based on the fact that I don't think Bitcoin is going to continue to progress to break through its key level resistance at like 23,000, 23,300. We got a strong 50-day set moving average, and that is essentially going to work as a resistance level. But right now, Bitcoin's pushing up to that resistance, and Matic is following suit in its own right. It's basically 3x of Bitcoin right now, if not greater. So that's really cool stuff. But the key here is that we might see another 20 hours of sideways action or upside, but the likelihood of it retracing back down to 91 cents, I feel, is fairly high. Just again, based on the overextension on the RSI, we've got these oscillators are fairly high as well here. Oftentimes when you see it jump up twice and the second one is higher than the previous, there's going to be some type of rejection that comes soon. So again, a lot of things on the 4 hour telling us that we should expect a turnaround. Again, is it going to be phenomenal, dramatic? 91 cents should be the bottom. That's kind of what it's telling us here so far. I'd be surprised if it broke below that, but once again, we will see. Stranger things can happen. But here is that bullish type of pennant pattern you can see where the price action broke to the upside. Keep this in mind though too. Bitcoin just pumped, and that is what just happened here. So don't expect this to continue to maintain itself. I think it's naive to think that Matic's going to hold at this price point for a long time. We could very well see a retest 91 cents even today. Okay, so again, very strong day for Bitcoin, and you got to recognize that altcoins tend to go a little crazy when that happens. so try not to buy into it, but on the same accord, I wouldn't say that you should be shorting this. It's not really something that you want to short. There's no signal telling us that a short position is viable, so definitely don't take that away from here. And it doesn't really say, honestly, that long positions are viable too, because just say you get in right now, 95, you ride it up to 105, we hit that rejection point, it'll probably come back down to 91. So again, not a lot of positivity there, except for the fact that, of course, every single sign points up. We've got just, conversion line above the baseline, lagging span, free and clear of the price action, well above the lead here, the upper lead on the cloud. So there's literally no reason to close your position, but I would also still recommend considering taking some profit. I like to take 50 to upwards of 70, 80% in some cases off of my first and second profit targets. That way, if the price comes back down, reverses, hits my trailing stop loss at break even, I'm still ahead of the curve, right? But I also still have skin in the game just in case the price action continues and I hit target 3, 4, or 5. Right. Again, just some different schools of thought, some things that I use in my signals that I send out, of course. But generally speaking, right now, I would just proceed with caution with Matic. It's a bit on the overextended side. Let's take a look at that extension as well. We came up to a 9 here previously, got rejected, consolidated a little bit, and now we're up again. So we truthfully didn't have enough consolidation here to warrant maintaining price action where it's at for that increase. In other words, that increase was not. It didn't get that approval, so to speak, and we're past the point of, I wouldn't say no return, of course. It's just that we're at this point where the price action, in my opinion, doesn't and shouldn't continue much higher from here. And again, it's just because of how sharp this increase is. While it is nice, we had about 6, 7, 8 hours of consolidation. It really wasn't enough to allow for us to maintain a price action at or above where we're at presently. Again, just keep in mind, everything is telling us that we're overextended. All the relative strength indexes are, including the daily. And that, to me, is something that we need to understand. So again, do not short, but also be cautious with the long. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but when a coin is like this and you're just say you're getting in right now, sometimes it's best not to get in right now and to wait to let it make a decision. Patience is probably the most important thing in trading, so please try to execute patience if at all possible. But generally speaking, that's where we're at here. No more going in circles. Simply put, Matic looks strong. We could very well see in the next couple of days a retest or just an initial test here from the previous support level at $1.05 from back in September. So we could very well see that. But again, a pullback to 91 cents is more probable, in my opinion, before it were to leg up to 105, just based on how it consolidated at that area. We are overextended on the 4-hour too, though, as well as the daily and the hourly. Okay, so those are all things that kind of tell us that the price should correct itself soon. All right. Just thinking out loud. All right, so I hope that that made sense to you, and you can obviously make sense of this yourself and kind of recognize what I'm getting at here. Obviously, if you want to learn to become a better trader, CryptoCache.tech is a site. Link in the description below. I look forward to working with you. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks so much for your time. We'll see you in the next one.